This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Good evening, everyone. A little music of Torah. Lag BaOmer is a difficult day to understand. What exactly are we celebrating? That the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva stopped dying. Of course they stopped dying. There was nobody left. They were all dead. There were no survivors. What kind of celebration is this? As the Pri Chadash asks, Ma tiva shel simcha zu? What is the nature of this simcha? The Chassam Sofer was so mystified by the celebration of Lag BaOmer that the Chassam Sofer writes that even not to say Tachnun on Lag BaOmer, he says, V'taimo gufa lo yadana. I don't really understand why we would not say Tachnun on Lag BaOmer. But there's an incredible revelation of the Rama MiPano, Rav Menachem Azaria of Pano, one of the great Italian Mikubalim. He says, in fact, there was a survivor. They did stop dying. There is someone who did not die on Lag BaOmer. And that individual is the Rebbi of these 24,000 students. Because if all 24,000 Talmidim passed on, the Rebbi has no accountability. Says Rama MiPano, that in fact the Gezerah, the heavenly decree, was on Rabbi Akiva as well. He was supposed to go, but he was saved. Rabbi Akiva was saved on the night of Lag BaOmer. Says Rama MiPano, that means Lag BaOmer is Leil Rabbi Akiva. So we are here tonight to support what Rabbi Akiva is all about. In the late 60s, a Jew in Williamsburg collapsed on the street. But in the 60s, there was no Hatzalah. So subsequently, this Yid died seeking medical attention. Reb Herschel Weber, he sees this. He says, I have to do something about it. And he founded Hatzalah of Williamsburg. Today, Reb Yitzchak Stern told me that Rabbi Weber bought oxygen tanks. They were each 50 pounds. From there, Hatzalah came to Borough Park. It was 1978, a freezing night in Borough Park, in the 70s in Borough Park. The streets were teeming with Sheres HaPleita Yidden. And there was one Yid, Rav Moshe Perlman. He's called across the street. His neighbor is having a heart attack. He runs across the street and he waits over an hour for the ambulance to come. Rav Moshe Perlman said right then and there he is going to donate the very first ambulance for Hatzalah of Borough Park. Because every moment counts, every second counts. Friends, what was the secret of Rabbi Akiva? Rabbi Akiva started life at 40. How did he elevate himself to such a great extent that in a dimension he was greater than Moshe Rabbeinu? Kol yakar ra asa einai ra Rabbi Akiva mashloi ra Moshe Rabbeinu. The answer is Rabbi Akiva maximized every moment of life, every second of life. Here's another revelation of the Rama MiPano. Akiva is a mnemonic, is an acrostic, is a Rashi Tevois. Yesh koine oilamai b'sha achas. And if you want to spell Akiva with the letter Hey, the Ben Yoyada writes, Yesh koine oilamai b'sha ha'achas. Rabbi Akiva maximized every second of life. And we know that a moment could spell the difference between life and death. Tonight is the night of Rabbi Akiva. The night of Yesh Koina Oilamai B'Sha Achas. What better night of the year than the night of Rabbi Akiva to show our support to Hatzalah? If heaven forbid, the Beis HaMikdash, the temple was burning down, and it was burning on Shabbos, and you had the opportunity to put out the fire, would you be allowed to put out the fire? You could not desecrate Shabbos. Shabbos is more important than the Beis HaMikdash. If the Sefer Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu was burning on Shabbos, could you save the Sefer Torah of Moshe? You would not be allowed to save that Sefer Torah. Shabbos is greater than the Beis HaMikdash. Shabbos is greater than the Sefer Torah of Moshe. But there's one exception to the rule. There's one cause that supersedes the Mikdash, supersedes the Torah, and supersedes Shabbos. And that is a Yid. The life of a Jew. If a Jew's life is in danger, you're mechuyev to desecrate Shabbos. And what if that Jew would only live one more hour? You still have to desecrate the Shabbos. And what if a Jew would only live one more moment? Could you desecrate the Shabbos? You would be obligated to. But friends, what could you do in a moment? In a moment, Yesh koina oilamai b'sha achas. There is something in this world greater than the Beis HaMikdash, greater than the Sefer Torah, and greater than Shabbos. And that is one moment of the life of a Jew. Yofeh sha'achas shel tshuva ma'asim tovim ba'olam hazeh mikol chayei olam haba. And that is exactly the opportunity Hatzalah is offering us tonight. In one moment, with one act of generosity, with one donation, you can save the life of a Jew. And then you too will be koine oilamai b'sha achas. Thank you for your support.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.